Hello, divine being. Welcome to the True Self Talk that happens every Tuesday and Thursday. The goal is not to bring you more absolute truths, but rather for us to explore different parts of our being, to broaden our perspectives, so our questions can change. I am Ella Morello, and I want to thank you for sharing with me the most valuable resource you have, which is your time. And before we begin, I just want to remind you that a couple of times a year, I offer free online workshops. All you have to do in order not to miss this gift is stay tuned into the social media channels. This is episode number 44. Identify why you are procrastinating. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about something that all of us humans feel, which is procrastination. Obviously, we feel it in different levels, right? But, anyways, for example, there are many studies that like 89% of workforce admits that they somehow procrastinate 1 hour at least during their days. So, besides that, it's said that 20% of adults actually suffer from chronic procrastination. So, anyways, this is a subject or a topic that all of us share in common. So, I hope to bring any, new insight, tips that maybe can help you out overcoming that characteristic. Well, let's first start by talking about the difference between procrastination and laziness. They are really, really, really different. Well, laziness is an inactivity. You don't want to do anything. You're not worried about doing anything. You're lazy. It has to do with inactivity. Procrastination, on the other hand, is actually an active process. What we do is we are deferring important tasks by replacing them with less important tasks or easier ones. So that's the main difference about laziness and procrastination. Also, laziness, it can be, well, there is many studies, okay, that people are discuss about this. There are different points of view and so on, but I wanted to bring here just so we are in the same page on this talk is procrastination usually has a specific mental reason that blocks you from productivity, different than being lazy, that you're literally consciously deciding that you are not going to do anything today. You're going to have a lazy day. Or if you have this trait in your personality, uh, you are simply a person that doesn't care. Procrastination is different. There is guilt involved, and so on, that we're going to go a little bit deeper in a little bit. So remember that there is a mental reason that blocks you from productivity. Also, specialists, they have discovered that procrastination isn't a time management issue, but it's really a coping mechanism. So, what we are doing when we procrastinate, we are actually avoiding pain, we are avoiding an unpleasant task and doing something else that gives us a temporary mood boost mood, right? So we are literally avoiding pain, and what we decide to do, okay, so you know what, I'm gonna walk my dog, I'm gonna clean this part of the house, or I'm gonna be on Instagram, or anything that gives you a temporary mood boost because you do not want to deal with that task. So, what is the solution actually? We have to go look for the root cause of that situation. That's what we are doing this journey together, step by step. Because, it's the same thing. If we understand this, you cannot come to a depressive, a clinically depressed person and say, cheer up. You cannot come to a procrastinator and simply say, just do it. Do you see how it is? This is something that has a reason of being. There are defense mechanisms in place. That is, the person is not doing that because she's lazy. She's not doing that because somehow inside of her, she has to heal. She has to integrate. She has to overcome a couple of things in order to be able to do that. So, how do we cure that? Well, again, by self knowledge and by telling ourselves the truth. So, what are main possible causes of making someone a procrastinator? Well, let's talk a little bit about internal causes. There is this classic one, which is the fear of failure. Maybe you have felt that in some areas of your life, not in all, or many, many. But, anyways, we as human beings, we are afraid of failing. I have no idea where we got this understanding that we cannot make mistakes. I have no idea where this comes from because literally it's part of us. And the interesting part is if you really look at what you have learned in life, the biggest things that have transformed you came out of a failure. So I don't know if it is like in our childhood or where did we got that, that maybe only because the kids that get everything right, they are praised. I don't know where we got this idea. But I was listening to an interview the other day and it was super interesting because the woman said, this super successful woman said after she was asked like what was her secret for her success, and she said, I'm not afraid of failing. And this really impacted me because somehow we are as human beings are afraid of failing. And the interviewer asked, but what do you mean? And she said, every day when I was growing up, my father would come to me and my brother in dinner time and ask, what have you failed today? And if they haven't failed in anything, the father would be kind of disappointed. That was her interview. And look how beautiful this is. This father, whatever, helped this woman to understand that committing mistakes are part of life. And actually, what you're going to learn for your mistakes are going to be much more effective than if you don't do anything because you believe you cannot make a mistake. So this is one big thing for us to procrastinate. Another one is the fear of success. And this one is a little bit less obvious because everybody's like, of course, I'm not afraid of succeeding. I want success. Well, maybe there is some part of you that is afraid of the responsibilities that you are going to get when you succeed. So it's important that we understand that these things that I'm telling you are not obvious. They are in our unconscious. So whenever we think rationally, you're going to be like, of course not. But yes, it might be a part inside of you that is afraid of succeeding. Another part, wow, it's going to, maybe another example, I'm going to have a lot of responsibility, or I'm not going to have enough time with my family, or maybe the people that you look that are successful, you believe they are bad people, that they stepped in other people in order to get there. So somehow in your unconscious, there is this fear of success. And it can go in many different ways. This is something inside of you that you have to figure out. This is something that I have been trying to work on myself for such a long time, and I have gone to so many interesting places inside of me because of this path that I'm walking towards. So also, if you see people around you that are super successful, maybe you believe that if you somehow are successful like them or more than them, you're going to be disrespecting them. Obviously, this is all unconscious. So another internal cause is low self-esteem. Somehow we might believe that if we are not always right, if we are not perfect, which is the next one, which is perfectionism. So I'm going to talk about both of them. But we believe that our value, our self-value, is actually um, intrinsically linked to what we do, not to what we are. So when we have low self-esteem, is because we're putting our value in the outside, in the hands of something. We're not really looking inside to understand our value. So low self-esteem, perfectionism, this is a big one. Also, I have no idea where we got this idea that we have to be perfect. And by the way, a distorted way of thinking that we are perfect. Because being perfect, being a perfect human being, is being able to feel everything, the good and the bad. The good and the bad. Making things right and committing mistakes. That's how our machine works perfectly. Because if we were not wired to be this way, we wouldn't be this way. So you are actually perfect with embracing all the aspects of yourself. Another one is too much on your plate. So we believe that if we're not constantly doing something, uh, we are being useless. So, constantly doing. Another one can be unclear priorities. That's also a big one. Unclear priorities. You were so lost and so, that you don't even know where you're going. Another one can be this is a big one as well, no immediate results. The way, the pace that we're living our lives as of right now, it's humanly impossible. Have you noticed like how quick are the informations, how many things, how many information our brain has to absorb in that millesime of a second? I mean, we want the results for now. We didn't even give the first step, and we are already wanting results. So we are like, you know what? Since this is going to take such a long time, I'm not even going to start. Well, I invite you to think about something. Aren't you living this life? Aren't you walking this path? Because if you are, then why not do the work? The time you have, the time is going to pass anyway. So the results really, it's just going to be a consequence. What is inside of us? What is the wrong conception that we have, that in order for us to be successful, first of all, so I'm going to invite you, what is being successful for you? So think about that, and also think like what it is inside of me that believe that if I don't get results, and what kind of results immediately. Well, if you start the gym today, you're not going to leave the gym today fit. As anything in life, you have to plant, you have to water, and then you harvest, and then you eat. So what it is inside of us that don't understand this concept of life? Obviously, we do understand in the conscious levels. However, if you catch yourself, how many times do you need instant results? How many things you didn't start in your life because it was going to take so long? Well, time is going to pass anyways. So, another one is lack of motivation. And then we go into other internal causes. Let's talk a little bit about external causes. Well, expectations, distractions, uh, unproductive environments, judgment. We're so afraid of being judged. If you have missed the talk of yesterday, I invite you to watch it, where we learn like how to actually deal with what can we do with the critics that we receive. So how can we take advantage of being judged? Also, poor time management. Uh, no deadlines, your childhood. Also, there is another one that is a big one, which is the imposter syndrome. I don't know if you know that one, but it is like a psychological pattern where the person doubts their skills, their talents, or accomplishments. They believe they are a fraud, that they don't even deserve that type of success. Anyways, All of these causes that I touched briefly with you are the mental um, triggers that I was telling you, the coping mechanism. So actually, uh, here's the thing: everything that I said is it can be the root cause of the reason why you are procrastinating. Okay, so what is important here for us to bring into conscious which one of those aspects they are, and we can start with the first one. You will see as soon as you start walking this and getting to know yourself, more insights you are having. And honestly, it looks harder than it is. If you put simple tool practice into use, you start getting these answers easily, because it's truly about reconstructing in order to become. Okay, what is one of the hardest thing about procrastination actually? And why is this so harmful? Well, the problem is the task doesn't go away. So eventually, let's say you decided to procrastinate today and you go there for a momentarily well-being and you go there watch dog videos, I don't know. The problem with that is, since the task didn't go away, eventually you're going to have to deal with that task. To complete that task, you're going to feel again the negative emotions. And even plus, you're going to add the stress of the time, because now you have less time to actually do that task. So remember, procrastination is really about dealing with our feelings. Okay? So, invitation. First, acknowledge why you are avoiding doing it. That's the first thing. You are not lazy, you are scared. Understand what is the fear. If there is an uncomfortable feeling, there is a fear there. So ask yourself, am I afraid of failure, of success, of not being perfect, and so on? You got the path. Uh, Also, there is like whenever we feel anxiety, when we are pushed to do things that makes us uncomfortable, naturally we're going to try to avoid that. And we have talked here a couple of times, for us to be able to start feeling our uncomfortable emotions, because we try to run from there and there is no way around it. It's just through it. So whenever you accept this truth, you're going to be able, it's not that the discomfort gets smaller. That's not what happened. The discomfort is a discomfort, but the way you open space in order to feel that, the time that you leave that discomfort gets quicker. Being there in that discomfort is easier. Literally, I don't know if you have heard this, but whenever, imagine, remember those when you were a kid, maybe you were afraid of monsters under your bed, and that inside of you was such a real fear. And now I ask you as an adult, was there any monster under your bed? That's what happens with most of our fears. We create this fear and we keep giving food to the fear. Whenever we give food to the fear and we look at the fear, it's like a giant. And whenever you go there and you face that fear, you realize that that fear is actually an ant and not a giant. You're gonna be like, are you serious? That it took me this much time to actually face this and it was just this? So here's the invitation for you to think about that. Another tip. So first, acknowledge why you have been avoiding it. Why? Second, forgive yourself for procrastinating. It's right now, like it's been, researchers says that employing self-compassion is one of the most important things, because when you forgive yourself, you reduce the guilt you felt about procrastinating, eliminating one of the primary of procrastinating. Because it's like this: you procrastinate, you feel guilty. So, first and most important, not just for procrastinating, in actually our self knowledge path, self empathy, self compassion, forgiveness. I always tell to myself, Ella, It's okay. Today, you weren't able to do better. Today, this is where you are. No problem. Next time, you're gonna have another opportunity. Be compassionate about yourself, because actually, uh, the people here, there is a study that says that people prone to procrastination are the ones less compassionate about themselves. Do you see that we are like trying to avoid the negative feelings, but everything goes back in this circle until we stop the circle? And how we do that? Go into the root causes of it. If not, this is a vicious negative cycle. You don't do it, you're gonna feel guilty, then you're gonna feel your self-esteem is gonna go low. And all of this started because you already thought you were not capable. You see? It's a never-ending circle. So, a tip here, rather than you telling yourself, just do it, work hard, what if we start feeling? What we start changing that sentence to work joyfully, study joyously, instead of study hard, work hard. Another tip, instead of you saying to yourself, just do it, what if you tell yourself, just start it? What if this is the first step to us towards overcoming our procrastination? Well, there is also the invitation also is always pay attention to your emotions. However, don't lie to yourself, because, for example, let's say whenever I tell you here, because I'm going to give you practical tips, let's say I come to you and say, make a list. You have to catch yourself in the lies. For example, you're going to do your to-do list, right? And let's say that inside that to-do list is going to have like wash dishes. Let's say you have to wash dishes, you have to, take a shower, you have to, I don't know. And you're going to do all your little to-do list. We tend to start for those that are easier or are somehow kind of a habit for us. And then we start the invitation, when I tell you don't lie to yourself, is don't start putting 1,000 things in your list, because again, your time is finite. You do have 24 hours on your day. So if you realize that this is a coping mechanism, you're trying to avoid doing what is the most important thing that you decided you want to do. So you're going to clean your house 10 times, you're going to walk the dog 10 times, or whatever it is that you do. But realize, okay, what is the hardest thing for me? But what is the most important thing for me? I'm going to start for the most important thing for me. And then I'm going to start going to the little ones. And then, if I cannot take care of the real ones, I'm going to actually ask for help. I'm going to figure out another smart solution. But I'm not allowing myself to procrastinate, let's say, on my project. Because, this, I'm going to give you this example because this was so me. That's what I think. I never cleaned the house that much. I was living this time in a studio. And I knew what I had to do in order to work towards my goal, in order to start my project. And it was not that I wasn't doing it, I was doing. But somehow inside my mind, everything else was more important than that. So I'll be literally like, oh, this is full moon. So I have to go over my closet and see everything that I have to donate. And then I have to clean my house and then cleanse the energy of my room. Perfect. Then the next day, oh no, you know what? No, now I have to do the supermarket list. By the way, I was working, but I was doing just the simple tasks. And whatever that task that actually would put me going, which is come here, make a life, put your face out there, and many other things. Anyways, I'm just giving you a simple example. It was what I was trying to avoid at all costs. Is that because I'm lazy? No. I would stand up at 7 a.m. and I would lay down at 12 p.m. So I was not lazy. I was simply having a hard time in order to understand what really was the root cause of my procrastination. What was my fear behind that? Now I can give you 1,300 lists on about that actually. But that's not the case. So I just invite you to actually, when I say tell the truth to yourself, is exactly this. Go back, ask yourself. You don't have to share this with anyone, but tell the truth to yourself. Okay, so what is the practical first tip? First question you have to ask yourself: what is the most important thing that I have to do today? Define your number one priority. When you do your list, you can have three priorities, but define the number one and start from that one. Because here's the thing. Now, going back to my example, what happens is our brain is so smart or not. Anyways, that even though I did 1,000 things on my day, I still felt, wow, I haven't accomplished things. But if I had done that one thing, that was the most important thing I had to do today, even though I didn't finish all my other to-do list, because honestly, we are a little bit crazy believing we believe we our days. This is so interesting. There is a quote that say we believe that our day has like 56 hours, but we believe also that our year passed so fast. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, not the point. So it start from the one that is actually the one that is gonna give you that, wow, I did it. Because then you're gonna feel fulfilled. Because then all those little tasks are not gonna be that important. Then your self-esteem is gonna go up. Then you're gonna think you are capable. And again, one step at a time. Do you understand? You can divide this big task, the most important task, in smaller tasks. Because in this way, you don't get frustrated as well. Because you simply cannot decide, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to study everything, and tomorrow I become a doctor. Be realistic as well. It's a process. So if you want to divide your most important task into smaller ones, that's a good idea as well. But start from that task. Second tip: I am not a morning person, but I'm going to give you this tip, which is wake up earlier. That's simple. Reason why is I'm not saying that you're going to wake up. The invitation is not for you to wake up earlier and start like doing more things. It is like, oh wow, I'm going to have to work and I have to leave in 2 hours, let's say. You have that 2 hours before. Can you start that most important thing that you have to do for your day if you are a morning person? Or if you're not a morning person like me, can I maybe start my day with presence and meditating, because I know that this is important for me and I know that I have to give that space for myself, and then I'm going to be have more energy to accomplish those tasks later on. Anyways, do this. Try for a week to wake up early to see how you're gonna feel. You are gonna feel more energized. You're gonna feel like your day is strong, is longer. And also, there are studies, I don't know, but anyways, that they say that you're just like a phone. So for example, throughout the day, your battery level start going low. Is this a rule? No. I have my battery later on in the day. However, the invitation is start anyways, waking up a little bit early, if it is 30 minutes, 1 hour, and see what works for you. But see how this will help you stop procrastinating, because you're giving you more time. That scarcity of time in your brain is going to stop happening. So, little practical thing, try that one out. Third, eliminate temptation. This is so important. If you any temptation. So, if you know that you waste a lot of time on Facebook. Can't you delete the app on your phone? And maybe you have an agreement with yourself that you're just going to do Facebook when you get home. I don't know. Eliminate temptation. If you're trying to get fit, don't have your kitchen full of shit, full of snacks that are not giving you where you want to, they're not helping you out to get where you want to get. So help you out and eliminate temptations. Also, whenever we say, I don't have time, yes, we all feel that way. But you see, we put, what we do is we have this nonsense goals, and then we try our best until like we burned out. And then when we burn out, we need to distract ourselves. So we go watch TV. We don't have time, but we watch the whole series of something on Netflix. Or we don't have time, but we stay how many hours in our phones doing nothing. But here's the thing, your mind needs to open. So the invitation is, I do have time. Let me just try to manage it a little bit differently. Because it is already nowadays, we are pa, 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 with all this information, with all these things. We're getting sick. We're getting social, in a social level sick. We're collectively getting sick. Tell me, where do you have a priority to have a presence at least once in your day? Whatever that is for you. It might be praying, it might be meditating, it might be walking down your block. Okay, so think about that. The tip number 4 is remind yourself, why is this important? Remind yourself why you want to do this anyways. What is your yes inside of your heart? Because you always have a decision. But if you have decided that, remind yourself, why is this important? And the tip is, instead of you saying, waking up and saying, I have to get to work, I have to call new clients, look at opportunities. Oh, wow, how nice, I get to work. I get to call new clients. Because, when I do that, what is the opportunity I see? Wow, a raise, or my commission, or being promoted. Focus on the opportunity, not in the obligation. This is a really good one. Focus in the opportunity, not the obligation. And my last tip of today is move your body. How? Let's say if you work from home or whatever it is, you're here. As soon as you start feeling your energy going down and you're like, I don't know, maybe sometimes I'm sitting here and really have to finish that task and my brain doesn't get there. It just doesn't. Well, move your body. If you have a stair, go up and down. Do something, jump. I don't know, just to elevate your heart rate. This will help your body go back and have this boost of energy. So whenever you feel like, you're not being able, simply put your heart rate up. So those are the tips of today. So we can start putting to practice right away to start working overcoming our procrastination tendencies. So thank you so much for being here. I will see you here tomorrow at the same time. And if you have any comments, any questions, I'm always here. And I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.